The internet went into a collective meltdown when Angel Reese hopped on Instagram Live and admitted that her WNBA salary doesn't even cover a single one of her bills. It was a statement that felt like a financial cry for help, especially when you look at the receipts showing she pays $8,000 a month for a luxury high-rise in the heart of Chicago. But if you think the woman they call the Bayou Barbie is living beyond her means or failing at basic math, you are missing the most sophisticated business pivot in the history of women's sports. This isn't a story about a rookie who spent too much on a view of Lake Michigan. It is a story about a player who realized the WNBA's business model was broken and decided to build her own empire right on top of it. Today, we are following the money to see how a $74,000 salary is being used as a smokescreen for a $100 million brand. We are going to answer 3 specific questions. Why did Angel intentionally leak her own rent-to-income ratio? How is she using the new Unrivaled league to legally bypass her WNBA contract? And finally, what is the true ROI of being the most hated player in the league? To understand the reality of the situation, we have to look at the first receipt, the lease. According to reports from Realtor.com in October 2024, Angel Reese resides in a luxury South Loop apartment where the rent is roughly $96,000 per year. Now, compare that to her official WNBA salary. Per the league's collective bargaining agreement and records from SpotRack, Reese earned exactly $73,439 in her rookie season. On paper, she is losing over $20,000 a year just to have a place to sleep. To the average viewer, this looks like the classic mistake of a young athlete falling for the trap of the high life. Critics were quick to point out that any financial advisor would tell you to spend no more than 30% of your income on housing. By those standards, Angel should be living in an apartment that cost about $1,800 a month. But Angel isn't an average employee. She is an intellectual property powerhouse. By publicly complaining about the rent, she forced the entire sports world to talk about the WNBA pay gap for 3 straight weeks. That is free marketing for a brand that no PR agency could buy. However, the most shocking part of this financial puzzle isn't the rent. It's the secret equity play that makes her WNBA salary irrelevant. This brings us to the real power move, the Unrivaled league. While the public was focused on her Chicago apartment, an industry-shifting deal was being signed in the background. According to business filings and reporting from Front Office Sports in late 2024 and early 2025, the Unrivaled League, a 3-on-3 professional circuit founded by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, offered its founding players something the WNBA never has: actual ownership. Per reports from the Miami Business Law Review in June 2025, Unrivaled allocates a collective 15% equity stake in the league to its players. This means Angel Reese isn't just a player for 8 weeks of the winter, she is a part owner of the entire league. When Angel posted on social media that she needed the $50,000 championship bonus after winning the inaugural Unrivaled title in March 2025, she was once again leaning into the underpaid narrative, while her equity in a league valued at hundreds of millions of dollars continued to vest. The reality is that for 10 weeks of work in Unrivaled, players are reportedly making a minimum of $100,000, with top stars earning over $250,000. Angel has effectively created a scenario where her side hustle pays 3 times more than her primary job, all while she owns a piece of the company. This leads us to the second major realization in the expectation versus reality of Angel Reese's career: the value of the villain. The common belief is that sports brands want clean athletes who everyone loves, the Caitlin Clark model. But Angel and her management team, led by industry veterans, realize that hate is a more stable currency than love. According to brand valuation estimates from USA Today, Angel Reese's total endorsement portfolio was worth an estimated $1.7 million before she even stepped onto a professional court. By the time she hit the WNBA, that number had skyrocketed. Per a report from the Times of India in September 2025, her net worth is now estimated closer to $2 million, though Angel herself noted in a November 2024 interview with People magazine that these public estimates are way off, implying her actual wealth is much higher. Why? Because brands like Reebok, Beats.Dre, and PlayStation aren't buying her box scores, they're buying her engagement. When Angel engages in on-court taunts or refuses to answer media questions, leading to a $1,000 fine in June 2024, she isn't being unprofessional. She is triggering a media cycle that ensures her sponsors' logos are seen by millions of people who wouldn't normally watch a Chicago Sky game. The strategy becomes even clearer when you look at the Shaq connection. Shaquille O'Neal, the president of basketball at Reebok, didn't just sign Angel to a shoe deal. He signed her to a mentorship in business villainy. Shaq famously built a billion-dollar empire by being a lifelike character who understood that the game on the court is just a commercial for the game in the boardroom. Following this blueprint, Angel has been aggressively trademarking her brand. According to legal filings, she has moved to secure the rights to the Bayou Barbie name and other slogans. This prevents the WNBA or any other entity from profiting off her likeness without her getting a direct cut. In the industry, this is known as vertical integration. She owns the podcast, Unapologetically Angel, which was named Spotify's Best New Show of 2024. She owns the trademarks, and she owns the equity in the competing league. The WNBA is simply the stage she uses to perform the character that funds the rest of the empire. But every empire has its risks, and for Angel, the risk is the WNBA's prioritization rule. This is a clause in the current collective bargaining agreement designed to stop players from playing in other leagues during the offseason. According to reports from Marquee Sports Network, this rule can lead to fines or even season-long suspensions if a player doesn't report to training camp on time. For years, this was used to keep players under the league's thumb. However, the reality of 2025 and 2026 is that players like Angel have more leverage than the league itself. With the WNBA players opting out of their CBA at the end of 2024, a massive legal battle is looming. Angel's public complaints about her salary aren't just social media posts. They are opening salvos in a labor negotiation. By showing the world that the league's top stars literally cannot afford to live in their home cities on their base pay, they are destroying the league's bargaining power in the court of opinion. The industry reality is that the WNBA is currently in a state of disruption by superstar. In the old days, a player like Diana Taurasi had to go to Russia to make the real money, often earning over $1 million a year playing for international teams. But that came at the cost of being away from the US market. Angel Reese has figured out how to make Russia money without leaving American soil. By leveraging her massive social media following, which exceeds that of many NBA All-Stars, she has forced the domestic market to pay her what the league won't. Per reports from Front Office Sports in November 2025, the new media rights deal for the NBA and WNBA is $76 billion. The players know the money is there, and Angel is holding the receipt and asking where her share is. If we look at the timeline of her first 2 years, the mistakes people thought she was making start to look like milestones. The missed media sessions, the technical fouls, the excessive luxury spending, it all served a purpose. Every time she was fined, her follower count jumped. Every time she was criticized for her shooting percentage, her podcast downloads went up. She has successfully decoupled her financial success from her athletic performance. In the traditional sports world, if you play bad, you lose money. In Angel's world, as long as you are talked about, you win. This is the new clout economy of professional basketball, and the Bayou Barbie is the chief executive officer. As we look towards the 2026 and 2027 seasons, the impact of this move is going to be felt by every rookie coming into the league. They are no longer looking at the WNBA as a career. They're looking at it as a platform for a diversified portfolio. We are seeing more players demand equity, more players launching their own media wings, and more players refusing to follow the old shut up and play rules. Angel Reese's $80,000 rent isn't a sign of a looming bankruptcy. It's the cost of doing business in a world where she is the one setting the price. The expectation was that she would be another underpaid WNBA player struggling to make ends meet. The reality is that she is a corporate entity that happens to play basketball on the side. So, what is the ultimate takeaway for the fans and the industry insiders? The game has changed from the hardwood to the spreadsheet. If you're still counting points and rebounds to determine who the best player is, you're watching the wrong game. The real winners are the ones who own the trademarks, the ones who own the equity, and the ones who can turn a villain narrative into a $100 million empire. Angel Reese didn't just enter the WNBA, she audited it, found it lacking, and decided to write her own check. The bills are being paid, but not by the Chicago Sky. They're being paid by a global audience that can't stop watching, whether they love her or hate her. And in the business of basketball, that attention is the most valuable receipt of all. If you want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes and how other superstars are secretly rigging the game to their advantage, you need to check out our Court Vision Rope Industry Secrets playlist. It is the essential next step to understanding how the game is really played behind the scenes.